Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Jim Davis and I'm the National Membership Director here at Make UK. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you to this breakout session. My vision for this session was really to help members and prospective members get a handle on some of the less tangible benefits of being a Make UK member. And I'm very, very pleased that 4 of our member companies are here represented. And rather than hear from me, actually you can hear their stories and hopefully learn a little bit about some of the ways that Make UK can support you and your organisations, hopefully in a way that you aren't necessarily aware of until now, and hopefully going forward you will utilise some of these benefits. I'm going to shut up there. I'm just going to thank our speakers. So Rowan, Andrea, Mike and Laura, thank you so much for agreeing to be part of this session. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dawn Huntrod, who is the Membership Director, Region Director in the North. Dawn, over to you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. And again, thank you to you guys for working with us this week on planning this session. I'm going to go straight into introducing each person, and rather than me telling you all about them, I'm going to ask them to talk about themselves, but I'm also going to ask them to tell them the part of the membership programme that they're involved in and what they enjoy most about that. So without further ado, we'll go straight on to Rowan Crozier, CEO of Breakout. I'm going to ask you to talk about your company, and I'm going to ask you to talk about your national and regional representation work that you do with Make UK.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm CEO of a company called Breakout, Midlands-based SME manufacturer, employing 63 people at the moment. We turn over roughly 10 million. And we've been on a transformational journey over the last 9 years, and Make UK have been on that journey throughout, with a bumpy start, let's say. And I wanted to share a little bit about that journey, particularly with Make UK, and how they've helped and how engagement has helped transform our business. I should have said what we do. So we're a precision stamping and tool making company. So we provide around 1 billion parts annually to 26 different countries, 10 different sectors worldwide. 10 years ago, we decided to try and save some money. And I was looking at all of our subscriptions, as most SMEs have, and challenge them and actually look and see where we can get best value. And one of those challenges was the EEF, as it was then. They're now called Make UK. And we used to pay our membership, and for one thing only, and that was the salary survey information, benchmarking information, which we used every year to benchmark our salaries, make sure we're paying the best rates we possibly can against the industry averages. Invaluable in itself, but wasn't enough. Upon that challenge, the local membership director came and saw me, and then decided to start sharing some of the things that we weren't aware of. To name but a few, I'm just going to go through a few of them, the ones that we've used and engaged with. Apprenticeship and training provision. Legal and HR advice, particularly useful on some of the employment challenges that we all face. Hopefully not too regularly, but they're on the end of the phone to help you with that. It certainly helped us. STEM engagement with National Manufacturing Day. Partner discounts. So energy, insurance, amongst many other things. Sectoral performance, and I call it data harvesting. Didn't know they did that. And it's invaluable, particularly in times of challenge and difficulty, as we're still in now. Awards and recognition, both regional and national awards and recognition for not only apprentices, but great manufacturing companies. And perhaps most hidden, but most impressive, is their unwavering responsibility for lobbying our government of the moment, to the benefit of small voices like SMEs, and we need that. We need that strong voice, and we're much stronger as a group, and Make UK are what I see as the national leader of doing that. I was at the time, after a year or so, I obviously said, yes, let's go for it, and started looking at it, taking on apprentices and things like that. And at the time, I was invited to come along to West Midlands Regional Advisory Board, RABS as they're known. Enjoyed it immensely, gave me the opportunity to meet like-minded people, and then was quickly invited to be vice chair and then chair of the West Midlands Regional Advisory Board, which gave my network a massive boost, which again is another hidden benefit of being involved. It gave me, at a time when we saw Brexit, COVID, an energy crisis, geopolitical challenges, that network to really explore with other people solutions and risks and, I suppose, a reduction in the impact of those things on our business by talking to other people running manufacturing businesses in the country. A year later after that, I found myself as National Membership Board Chair, and that's where I am today. And again, it's having that support around you, contributing to the voice that Make UK represent, which is all manufacturers, SMEs and micros, right up to OEMs, back to government about what we need, what our problems are, and how we think they should fix them. And I have to say, they've got direct links with number 10 and number 11. Maybe we might see number 11 later on. I think the cat's out of the bag already on that.
There is a trapdoor.
So I'll stop there, but I'll just end on saying it's like any network, and I'm involved in a lot. My top tip for being involved in a membership network of any type is you only get out what you put in. Engage, and the benefits will come to you. Pay your subscription and do nothing like I started out doing, you won't get those benefits. Thank you.
And beautifully timed there, thank you. Absolutely brilliant. And we didn't pay him to do that. This is actually coming directly from the experience he's had, so that's really fabulous. We're going to go now to Andrea Wilson, Director of Honol Precision. She's going to talk about Advantage Partners and one in particular she's had a really good relationship with. I'm just going to put them all up here. There is a number of them there, but I'm going to go straight into Andrea. Tell us a little bit about Honol and what you do at Honol Precision, and tell us about your experience.
So yes, hello everybody. Thanks for coming in today. I wasn't going to say much about the history of joining Make UK, but Honol is an SME based in Bedfordshire. We are a precision machining specialist in deep hole boring, deep hole drilling, honing and turning. So effectively, in layman's terms, we make tubes of all shapes and sizes across all industries, 4,000 customers, supplying everywhere around the world. Just not many people know it because we're down the bottom end of the supply chain. So we're one of the hidden gems. My relationship with Make UK was quite an interesting one, as Rowan just referred to back in the days of EEF. I went to my second ever regional advisory board meeting, at which point a new CEO had been brought in. I'm very pleased to say he didn't last very long, so I will just make that point. Who sat there and said SMEs were of no use to Make UK or to EEF, and he was going to get rid of us all because we were all too much hassle for not enough income. At which point I stood up and did my little strop and said, I've really travelled all this way today to hear this bunch of, as you can imagine, the word I used. I have my AS 9100 quality audit today. My quality manager is sitting there on his own with no support, and I have to come here and listen to this. As a result, about 3 days later, I was told I was nominated for regional chair by the lovely Raghu Das, which I took on board because it gave me an opportunity to have a voice. It gave me an opportunity to hold EEF/Make UK to account when I didn't feel that they were going to be making the right decision for SMEs in particular, or manufacturing as a whole. And Stephen Phipson will probably tell you to this day I'm still a pain in his backside. But I am Make UK's biggest supporter because they do listen. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes, they have to go with what is required within the marketplace at a time. And for a while, SMEs, I do feel, got a little bit forgotten because they had bigger fish to fry. We had COVID, we had Brexit, but all throughout that time, they were still fighting for manufacturing, and that's what you've got to remember. I I'd ended up being a regional chair for over 10 years. I kept asking them to fire me, but it didn't happen. But thankfully, we now have a new chair, and they're doing a grand job. Jim asked me today to speak, and the reason I agreed was because Westfield Health is another little hidden gem of your membership with Make UK. And to be fair, it's a hidden gem nationally. I'm from Rotherham, and in Rotherham, Sheffield, Westfield is quite well known. They're very close to one of the best cancer hospitals in Sheffield, and they've looked after my family, or looked after my parents as was, for about 45 years. And people say, what does Westfield Health provide? Well, okay, it's a very, very cost-effective Bupa membership, but with so many added extras. And most importantly for my team, it gives my team choice and flexibility. It gives me the ability to protect my team in a very cost-effective way. So we basically pay a monthly amount, which is very, very reasonable, as you would see from the slides. I'm not going to go through it. It's not my job to do a sales pitch, because what matters to you is what they can do for your business. I basically add it to my employee's payslip and then take it back off, so they don't have to fill in P11Ds. So it's something that doesn't create extra paperwork, but it means my staff have immediate access to a health line, mental health line. When they've needed operations, they've basically chosen to have that private operation over, for example, Easter or Christmas. So it minimises their time away from the office. They've been able to claim back more than it even costs us, even though they're not paying, on dental, optical. And it's so simple. You have an app. They basically scan the receipt of the dentist appointment they've just paid for, and they get their money back within about a week, 2 weeks. It is the simplest and most easy scheme to use, and they keep improving it. We had a member of the team who was struggling with their mental health. Their GP said 8 to 10 weeks minimum before they'd even be considered for an appointment. Basically, Make UK, EEF, Westfield, keep getting the words right, Westfield were there within 48 hours and had 6 sessions lined up. That was invaluable. And that, when we know our NHS is suffering and struggling under the strain it is completely invaluable, not just to my business, not just to the impact on productivity and all the other wonderful buzzwords that people want to talk about. Most importantly, the happiness of my team. If my team are happy, they come to work. My team are happy, they stay with me. And I have one of the best retention rates in this industry. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
Cool. I think you've been practicing this. We're bang on time. Thank you, Andrea. And that leads me on nicely to Professor Mike Maddock, who is our regional chair in Yorkshire and Humber region. Mike was one of the big vocal voices in our region, asking for ways to network with other members. Make Care responded, and we came up with the Capability Index, which then gives us the opportunity for you to network and to see what other members are doing. So I'm going to hand over to Mike, who's going to tell us a little bit about Performance Engineering Solutions that he is head of, and more about what you do with the Capability Index.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and it's good to see you all here. Said I was one of the loud voices for the Capability Index. For those of you who know Yorkshire, and I'm chair of the regional board at Yorkshire and Humber, it wasn't me that had the loud voice, it was the Yorkshire members. As you know, they don't request anything, they demand it. And therefore, I was able to represent them and take that forward. But before I get into that, just a little bit in terms of my journey as well. So I'm Mike Maddock. I'm a co-owner of a company called Performance Engineered Solutions Limited and also PES Scanning. We're a high-performance engineering business working at the front end of innovation, from the mad professor through to the catapults and large SMEs, global operation, and we're working in the front end in terms of small prototype batches. And then PES Scanning is a data capture business, so into the digitization from metrology, quality control, right through now to large volume scanning for the digital twinning of large facilities to create flow and productivity analysis of the sites to move into the digital era. One thing we found when we started the business is we hadn't realized that we were going under NDA, so 95% of the work we do is under NDA. So who you're working for can't tell you, and what are you working on can't tell you that either, which is a great marketing plan. So we had to sit back and understand, well, how do we get our voice out there without telling anybody what we do? So we looked for an organisation that would be representative of what we represent. So Make UK purely focuses on manufacturing rather than the other organisations that have a broader focus. We also wanted to be, as Rowan had said, we decided if we're going to join some, we want to be proactive, not reactive, and we want to make a real difference in what we do. So from a regional perspective, to be plugged into regional views, but also from a national perspective. And because we're innovation and at the front end, we really felt we had to influence where we could. So we joined 8 years ago, and within a year or so, I became the vice chair of the Yorkshire and Humber board. And then after 4 years, Dawn gave me absolutely no choice whatsoever. And then I became chairman. And I have to say, and probably the guys, sitting on the stage with me, whilst it's a voluntary role, you have to put the time in. A lot of people say that. But actually, the rewards are massive. I actually feel we're doing something that makes a real difference, and representing the guys and the members within the region, makes me really proud. And we've come to the NMB, we meet up with all the regional teams, we look at the key challenges from a regional basis, but where the commonality is. And then we go to the national policy team, with Verity in the team, and then we pull together a strategy. And then the guys literally go knocking on the door, as Rowan said, of number 10 and number 11. I mean, as a small business, how can you be almost a second step away from number 10 and number 11? And it's really critical. And as I say, but you have to basically get off your backside and do something about it, because if you don't put any heat into the fire, you're not going to get any heat out of it. So you have to be proactive. But there are those members who really, because of the services that Make UK support, are quite happy to sit back. But they also have a voice. They don't have to sit on the regional board. So that was one of the main reasons that we came on board. And also I've learned, probably like these guys have, coming down to Westminster, sitting on national boards now with Make UK, advising government, how the system works within Westminster, and then taking that back to the regional board, because there's a huge amount of frustration. Some say, well, nothing's happened, nothing's taking place. What it is, but actually playing a political game, and it's best to be at the table rather than outside the door because you push too hard. But there's a lot of conversations going on your behalf. So I'm really pleased about that. And I just think it's incredibly rewarding. And also because of my role within Make UK and being a chairman, it's opened other opportunities, and I've been invited onto other boards, so it allows me to have a really good holistic view of what's going on. So I sit on the Small Business Charter main board, pushing the Help to Grow programme, accrediting business schools, etc., etc. So it's opened so many doors for me, and also for the wider team, as I say, having that holistic view. And also playing the political game, which I'm not great at politics, but over the last 5 years, I've been steered by the Make UK team to maybe look at a different approach and how you work it forward, otherwise the door shuts. Okay, enough about me. So the capability platform, yes, we did shout about it, and the members were really looking at how they take this platform forward. So the members have been requesting it over the years, and wanted a platform and how we were shaping it and talking to Make UK. Once we got to that critical mass, it wasn't about having an aggressive sales tool, but an interactive platform that we can share and a safe space to be able to share. So you can see from the slide, so I'll just work through it now. Annette Hobson, who's membership manager for Yorkshire and Humber, has championed this and taken it forward. So please, talk to Annette if you have any questions, because she's the real expert. But in terms of a tool on a platform, so you have news. So you can see that, the opportunity. So, am I on the right slide there?
Did I go forward?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
For you, sorry.
There we go. See, I did pay attention to my slides earlier on. So news. So basically sharing news, and as you see there, Katie from CBE Plus is a real advocate of this, and she's the marketing manager of CBE Plus. She really drives the news and promotes their business. Rather than an informational piece, I said, rather than the half sell. And we also have, Expanded Metals Company, Phil in the Northeast, and their team are really proactive in this, and a lot of other members. But the news is basically a platform to you to get your news out there, but also X, and everybody says formerly Twitter, which is tied in to Make UK, also logs into and puts information onto the news section. So it's an informative interaction, in piece that really focused on manufacturing and also for the manufacturers, across the UK. The membership side, this is the key piece. So if you're not already on the capability index, this is the point where you need to put as much information about your team, about yourself, about your capabilities, your accreditations. The more information you have on there, the better. Because really, this is the platform where other members, so for example, in the scanning, I've got a scanning business. If everybody wanted to look at scanning, so they could search scanning and they'd find scanning. Then if they wanted to dial it down and say, okay, I want to go the next level down, I want to look at it from a geographical perspective. So look in Yorkshire Humber, how many are scanning in Yorkshire Humber? Then if you want to drill it down even further, well, I need them to have a JOSCA accreditation, they need to have Cyber Essentials, etc. So they can drill down again. So you can really refine your search. But also, remember, other members are looking for you and getting onto that platform and maybe using you and calling you up and to ask you advice and some calls. And we get that all the time within the network. So the key thing for the membership side is be absolutely critical you put as much information into that space so that allows you or the people looking for businesses like yourself within the Make UK family to drill down and find you and then work with you. And as I say, it's not an aggressive sales tool. It's an open platform to be able to work together and support each other. So the next one is events. So the event side of things, this is a really good platform. So it allows Make UK to put all the events on there and promote what they're doing in the future and give you the opportunity to see if you want to engage with it and look at either the face-to-face events, online events, etc. But also more interesting for members, you're able to put your own events on there. Now, there is a little bit of control in there, so you have to go to your membership manager or log on to the website, which you won't remember, but it's email@capability.makeuk.org. I'll test you all on that one later. So again, you can take that forward. So on here, it's like Colchester Machines, advertising an event they were doing. So again, when we've all been talking about National Manufacturing Day, you can push that, National Manufacturing Day, the schools you're talking to and how you promote, you can get it onto this site. And that helps the Make UK team also to understand what's going on from a national perspective and then drill in and potentially support you in doing so. So the events is a great platform to do that. The opportunities, this is, again, more drilling down, but it's more of a peer-to-peer support space for members. So you can discuss matters online, you can search each other out. You can also, put on there that I have a bit of downtime on machines, so I've got more capacity, or I'm looking for a particular individual and typical skill set. I'm looking for an operations director, can you help me? But there's also a whole range of tabs in there which are evolving, and Annette's evolving these. So looking at consultation, cost saving, insurance, non-UK supply chain, trade, finance, a whole range of subject matters that you can drill down into them will help you, inform you. And again, from that, you can go to your team or other members to ask, have you got experience in this space? Again, which is absolutely invaluable. So, and then the forum is literally that online space where you can debate with friends, as I would call it. You can have a confidential, secure environment to ask those key questions that you need to, away from, prying eyes of some of the team. So what are you doing about, the working from home policy and how have you best implemented it within the industry? Because that's a big subject matter with us at Yorkshire and Humber. Annette is also using the forum to put latest surveys into that platform. And also, if Make UK find other surveys, such as government reports, she'll drop the government reports in there that may be of interest to you. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the capability platform. If you're not signed up, then please do. It's not necessarily, it's like me, I'm not signed up on it and I don't use it, but actually my marketing team do use it, and I know other members have their sales team use it, and they drive the platform on your behalf. So that's, an actual crucial thing. But say, whistle-stop tour, Annette is at the front. We've already got there some dates where we've got some online training to get, your teams up to speed. So I hope that helps you. Please sign up to the capability platform, and thanks very much.
Thank you, Mike. That was awesome. Lots and lots of information there, and a real advocate for what we're doing there. Our final speaker is Laura McBrown, Managing Director of G&B Electronic Designs. Most of you will already know it was the fourth year now. We're going for our fourth year, yes? Yeah. For National Manufacturing Day, and this is something you've really embraced at your business, and you're going to tell us your story. But of course, if you want to tell us a little bit about G&B, what you do.
Yes, of course. Morning, everybody. I was going to start with a couple of questions, actually, one of which Steph's already done, which was how many of us are struggling with skills in our sector, which I understand is about a third. So I'm going to go ask my second question, because she hasn't done that one already, which is how many of us are struggling with an ageing workforce, trying to get young people into the business? A little show of hands. Excellent, thank you very much. So, as Dawn said, I'm Laura from G&B Electronics, Managing Director. I'm going to talk to you about National Manufacturing Day, but first I'm just going to show you what it is that we did. If you could play the video.
And again.
And again. You were listening. Oh.
So we are a subcontract manufacturer of printed circuit boards and electronic products. So we got all the kids to make a circuit board. They had to go into stores, pick their own kit, go into the hand assembly area, follow a work instruction to put it together and solder it. They then had to take it into the inspection and look at the solder joints that they had created under magnification, and then through into test, where they tested their product to see if it would work. They got to take those boards home. Other things we did with them involved a little talk that me or one of the senior leadership team do in order to let them know what kind of jobs might be available to them. We get them to tape and reel some components so that they're suitable for placement on a machine. We do a tour around the factory, but we integrate that with a quiz. So they get a set of quiz questions, and the answers for the quiz are up around the factory, which means it sort of turns into a bit of a game, a bit of a treasure hunt in terms of who can find the next clue as they're going around. We do stuff around diversity, so it's a diversity game where we put lots of pictures of different people from the business up, and they have to guess who's the leaders in the business and who's the cleaners in the business and all the roles in between. It's very rare that they get it right, in so much as the 3 leaders of the business are all female. So it does that bit to sort of just challenge that diversity piece as well. We put stuff together where we mark out a track on the floor with a cup with 4 bits of string, and we get 4 students to stand in the 4 edges. It's a teamwork exercise, and they have to just pull the cup around to get it through the maze to where it needs to win the bits at the end. They can win prizes. They all win a prize. We do some stuff around apps where they can design their own circuit board, all of that kind of stuff. So they work through all of that, and because of that, we have generated really great relationship with the schools. The kids, in their words, think it is wonderful. They absolutely love the day. They really, really enjoy it. If I could have our next slide, yes, this one.
Oh, that one.
Sorry, back. Sorry, I hadn't realised you'd changed it, sorry. Our best quote from the day was, before I came here, I wanted to be a doctor, and now I want to be an engineer. Whoever gets to employ that bright young lady, you're welcome. The kids, they really do enjoy the day. They love to be involved. We've had emails from the mums where their kids come home from school, barely say anything, but they've come back from being involved in National Manufacturing Day, and they can't wait to tell all the things that they've been working on. They love being involved. So last year we had 5 different schools, 40 different students come and be part of the facility. We get invited to multiple careers evenings at the schools, where we also take a soldering station. We have the longest queue and we're always the last to leave. The kids absolutely love doing stuff that's hands-on that they don't get to do in their normal work day. I can't encourage you enough to get involved in that. But the real secret sauce, the real magic of doing this kind of activity is what it does for the team. And how it engages them. So after all the students have gone home and we've finished with all the schools, we invite the friends and family of the team that we have on site to see what they do, and to see the team just beam with pride as to, you know, the products that they produce and the machines that they operate when they show them to their friends and family is just priceless. I make an effort to make sure I get round and see all the friends and family so that I can sort of share with them, you know, how important their team member is to the business and all the things that they've achieved. And after manufacturing day is over, the rocket fuel that has put into the business in terms of culture is something that we could never pay for with a activity day or an off-site team building exercise. And we can do this for free. Well, it costs us 1 day of manufacturing output. But to be able to sort of do that, and the lady that you can see helping our student here, she cancelled her holiday in order to be part of the day. They absolutely love being involved. We're now at a point where we're having to turn schools away and students away because of requests for National Manufacturing Day to be involved. We just can't take on any more. Could I ask you to show the next slide, please? Right. So today we celebrate all that is incredible behind manufacturing technology, including those that are neurodiverse. Neurodiversity brings innovation, creativity, and unique problem-solving skills to the table. We need to recognise that different ways of thinking are not just assets, they're key to challenging thoughts and reaching new heights in manufacturing. It's really important that all students understand that they have a value and something to contribute. And our industry is better placed than most to provide that diversity of training and that environment. So please, encourage you all to please get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. As we said, National Manufacturing Day, 25th of September. I think the majority of us want to go to Laura's because it sounds like there's a lot of fun to be had. I actually had one in the northeast that teaches children to weld with chocolate. It's quite interesting. Who knew there was such a difference between white chocolate and milk chocolate and trying to weld it together, but it was fun trying. So if you've got your phones, I suggest you scan that code, get yourself registered. It won't cost you anything but a few minutes of your time. There's lots of information and packs on that will help you. Send letters to your local MPs, send letters to the schools, and we'll keep you up to date throughout the rest of the year. If you want to learn anything more about it, we'll be on our Regional Connect stands. We do have a question session just now. It's not letting me move. Oh, here we go. Q&A. However, we're very short of time, so if anyone has a burning question, if you'd like to stick your hand up, we'll get round to the room, but I think everything's been pretty obvious on this session. So it just is my pleasure to thank the panel. I think you've done an outstanding job. You're real advocates for what we do at Make UK. There's a lot of members who do a lot of things like you, but I really do appreciate the time you put into this. Obviously, we'll go on and thank our sponsors. Without them, these sessions don't happen. I'm stopping you from getting to the Britton and Whittle rooms where lunch will be served shortly, and then we'll have you back in the room for 2:15 because we've got a very senior government minister. No one's putting me down the chute. So I'd just like to thank you all for coming and see you around the rest of the day.